So I went shopping the other day and they gave me something in a plastic bag. I thought it was supposed to be illegal though, so I don't know. I don't even feel like getting arrested. But at some point, I guess they just waived the thing where it's like, all right, bags aren't illegal anymore. I didn't hear about that, but anyway, I like the smiley face. Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees. Well, there's a few sips of the bottle left in this Yankee season, and they're pretty much a shoo-in to make the playoffs, unless they pretty much lose every game from here on out, which is not going to happen. But, of course, we want to see where the Yankees stand in the AL East there. So, I know we kind of reviewed it last time, but, of course, they're kind of battling there with the Orioles, got the lead. But we'll kind of break down the odds of what the odds of they will actually be the AL East champions, because you want to be the AL East champion. Just helps you out in the playoffs and stuff like that. So we'll kind of look in there. And, of course, story we kind of followed from last time, getting the Yankee bullpen kind of in flux a little bit. A lot of uncertainties there, but we'll kind of do a quick review right now. Of course, as you know, Holmes kind of been kicked out of that closer role there. Luke Weaver somewhat promoted, but we'll kind of look at the Yankee bullpen and what their odds will be, especially going into the postseason. Again, a lot of inexperience there, which you got to be worried a little bit about, but we'll analyze that. And of course, you probably know by now some of the drama between Garrett Cole and Rafael Devers in their most recent Boston series. Now, it's a series the Yankees took 2 out of 3, but of course, all the speculation was between Cole and Devers. You got a little bit of a plunking there. You got a little bit of an intentional walk there. Judge gets plunked there, so a little bit of a battle there. Now MLB is investigating the whole situation. So in case maybe you missed a bit, maybe we'll just checked out a little after Labor Day there. I kind of get you caught up on that whole thing. And a kind of a story I kind of covered on the audio podcast version of the show. And that's, of course, DJ LeMahieu possibly done for the rest of the season. Shocked there. But again, in case you missed it, we'll kind of give you the health update, what actually happened to him and kind of where he stands and what his schedule is. And of course, a couple of arms will be rejoining the Yankee bullpen in September there. Not really guys maybe that you're looking to use for the postseason there, but can relieve some of the other relievers there, so kind of let you know which names are coming back. And of course, while this show was on a little bit of a hiatus over the past couple of weeks there, and we all knew it was going to happen, Jason Dominguez did join the Yankees in September there. Been a bit of a yawn there, so we'll kind of get you caught up in that situation of him versus Verdugo, where they're likely to go in the postseason. So a ton of great stuff there. But before we get started, as I mentioned before, there's the audio podcast version of the show, so make sure you subscribe right there. Again, as much as you like to see me here, you want to get more frequent updates, especially if we go into the playoffs and some of these series end up just in a couple of days, especially if it's like a best of 5 or a best of 7 there. So there's a lot of updates to go around. You might have one big game that might have a lot of something to talk about afterwards. So you want to be a podcast subscriber, and of course, as you should do here, if you watch on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed as well. Now, the Yankees are pretty much in the driver's seat, of course, in terms of making the postseason. And at this point right now, as I'm saying this, till the rest of the season, all they need is 2 wins at some point there. So, again, it would take even the worst team in baseball, even the Chicago White Sox, as bad as they were during the middle of the season, even they couldn't blow this one there. So we're at least fair to say the Yankees will be in the postseason. So breathe a sigh of relief there. Good news. But of course, I mentioned at the top there, you want to be the AL East champion. And of course, you want as many wins as possible. Obviously, you want to try to get a first round bye there. Just because it gives you a little extra rest. You can set up your starting rotation how you want it there. There's always the danger of maybe you cool off for a day or two there. But I always rather just be in the top seed, well rested and ready to go, versus kind of be that team that had to fight like hell to get in. You get in, okay, maybe you're still hot, but at the same time you could also burn yourself out. So I'd rather be with the Yankees if they could get that AL East championship again. It just push them in a much better position. And right now, at this moment, as I'm speaking, they got a 3-game lead over the Baltimore Orioles there. So very good lead for them. And again, that's kind of doesn't guarantee them the AL East there, but again, and I'll get into some of the odds on at the end of this little part here of how they stand. But again, middle of the month, 3-game lead there. It pretty much is shoo-in. So looking very good for the Yankees there. Now, they'll about engage right now in the middle of the month. Their last road trip of the regular season includes 3 games against the Seattle Mariners. Now, the Mariners there, it's not really pushover. And they're a couple games over 500, but they're only 2 games out of one of those wild card spots. So they're going to be fighting like dogs as hell to get in there. So, do they have a little bit more to play for than the Yankees do? Yeah, but of course, I think the Yankees as well want to put this to bed right away as soon as you can. I mean, the sooner you can clinch, the better, just to get it out of the way. So again, maybe Seattle will be fighting a little bit harder. The games won't be a total push over there, but that's that series. But then after that, you have the Oakland A's, or just, I mean, they're just playing out the days there. So I mean, no reason. I mean, yeah, I understand maybe it's a young team. They want to be excitable and knock the big bag the Yankees off the pedal, stuff like that. But again, situation, maybe you want to put Seattle side with the Oakland series there. Again, that should be very favorable for the New York Yankees. Again, even at the road team on the West Coast playing a little out of their time zone. But then the Yankees, of course, come home. You have the 3-game showdown with the Baltimore Orioles, which even at that point there may not even mean anything. Maybe it do, maybe it doesn't there. But you can almost put the game aside, because then after that, finally, after that at home, they had 3 games against the Pittsburgh Pirates, which again, they're pretty much like the Oakland A's. And this playing out the string of days there. And of course, would you have some young guys that wanted to just, knock the Yankees off the pedestal, make a name for themselves? Yeah, but again, between this Oakland and Pittsburgh alone, just those 6 games, I mean, the Yankees could really take care of a lot of business there. Where even if they lose all 3 of those games against the Baltimore Orioles, may not even matter there. But again, at least fair to say right now, the Yankees will be in the postseason. Now, I mentioned before, there's some analytics that go into this and some stats and some gambling odds. Now, again, I'm not a big fan of online gambling and sports betting like that, and I wouldn't know the difference between betting and a hole in the wall with sports betting there. But I looked up a couple of sites here to give some sources there that in terms of the Yankees getting the AL East crown, where they stand stats wise there. So I'm not telling you to sell the car and use the cash to double it up. If you have a trust fund for your kids or for the education, you do not want to empty that and put these bets down. But it is interesting to know this, so I did a little research for you. So first of all, and this is quite interesting myself. So obviously, you always see a stat and it will say plus and minus. Now, you might think minus, that's a bad thing, but actually it's a good thing. So if you see minus, that means it's actually that's the person, that's the favored person. And if you see a plus, that's the underdog. With the whole thing with that is that if you put money on the plus and you win the money times that number, that's how you win there. So minus, in this case, minus is a good thing. Plus is a bad thing. So let's see where the Yankees went. So I went to 3 sources there, just get a little bit of variety when I want to lean on just one site there. But first I went to, I'm sure, as you all know, DraftKings there. So we'll see what they think the Yankees stand right now of being the AL East champions, and they give the Yankees minus 700. So that's a big number, minus 700. The Yankees win the AL East there. So that's DraftKings. I'm sure you heard of them and stuff like that. So that's one source. Seemed pretty convinced that the Yankees are going to win the AL East championship. And if you want to translate that, that's about an 84% chance. So an 84% chance right now that the Yankees will be the AL East champions. So I'm not telling you to bet anything like that, but I'm just telling you that's what it is. I'm just reporting the news. I'm not creating it. Now I went to another site there. So second one, sportsbettingdime.com. They also have the Yankees at minus 752, so even a bigger probability than DraftKings have. So DraftKings was minus 700. This site was minus 752. And last but not least, let's get 3 there. I think 3, 3 suggestions is a pretty good answer. It gives you enough variety there. And this is WSN.com, and they report their probability the Yankees win the AL East at minus 800 there. So you got some big numbers there. So three of them with 700 or over, 3 sites that if you're going to place a bet, and these places with statistics in Vegas and all that stuff, I mean, they got this down to a dime, especially if you think of football. It's like, how can someone win by 2 points? They nail it all the time there. So it seems very convincingly that the Yankees will be the AL East champions there. So I don't say break out the champagne now, but it's a very good possibility. And again, for the Yankees not to make the postseason at all, they literally have to lose every game for the rest of the season, which is not going to happen. It's just impossible. It can't happen. Literally, if I was on the team, if you had 25 of me on the team there, we'd at least win 1 game there. So Yankees definitely going to make the postseason. And if you want to, count on these deal maker, these Vegas odds places and all that stuff there, pretty much a shoo-in to be the AL East champions. Now that's where the team stands, but of course on an individual level, I guess one of the subplots of the, as the season's winding down, would be Aaron Judge in terms of where he would end up in his home run total there. Now, a couple of weeks ago, towards the end of August there, he was on absolute tear, just hitting a home run every game, 2 home runs a game, and he looked like, I maybe challenge Bonds, possibly, but not really, but definitely could maybe challenge his own 62 home run mark that he made back in 2022. Well, good news in a way that it looks like neither will be in jeopardy there. I mean, Judge, at least at this moment right now, he's had 53 home runs, hit the 53rd one during that Boston series, that 4-game set there. But if you look at, with only 12 games left for the rest of the season, as saying this right now there, it just seems unlikely. Of course, no way he's going to challenge Bonds 73, which I never thought that was going to happen anyway, of course. But yeah, that's totally off the table. Now, the only thing that would be left is, can he do better than his 62 in 2022? I just don't think it's possible now. We're 12 games left there. Again, with the season way is playing out there, chances are they're going to lock in a playoff and maybe the AL East pretty early there. And then I think you would see Boone kind of resting him up a little bit. Again, he's probably the majority of the season in center field there. He's taking a lot of wear and tear. Again, overall, he's done a pretty good job of staying healthy. But overall, you can see, I just don't think he's going to get enough bats there or enough opportunity to even challenge his 62 there. Now, you might be a little disappointed, but actually I'm not. That could actually be a blessing in disguise, because we saw what happened towards the end of the 2022 season there, where he started pressing a little bit. The media got to him. The tension got to him. He had Roger Maris' son following him around all over the place, and he started doing unjudge-like things. He started getting undisciplined in the strike zone, started swinging at bad pitches, swinging early in the count. Again, going against the things that got him successful there, and again, you don't want him going against the things that have made him successful so far this season there. Clearly should probably be the MVP, but that all remains to be seen right now. But the fact that he doesn't have to worry about that, I think, again, that's the better thing for him. He had his whoop-de-doo there in 2022, got a 62 home runs, great, good to see that. Again, a lot of baseball purists will probably say that's the real mark there, and they're not recognizing Bonds' 73, which is marred with possible PED use there. So I think it's fine, good there. I think it's a great opportunity for judges to kind of focus there, stay disciplined in the strike zone, don't get crazy there, look at chasing any records like that thing. So you want to be disappointed in that regard, but I think for the long-term, bigger long-term, the future for this team going to the playoffs there, you'd rather have Judge not challenging any of these records. So we've seen a little bit of transformation in the Yankee bullpen over the past couple of weeks. And of course, Clay Holmes kind of getting fired, from the closer's role. Now, I don't think that's, written in stone just yet there, but it looks like right now, Luke Weaver is kind of the main guy, I guess more times than not, in the ninth inning there. Now, again, Boone has gone to a couple different guys in situation. I mean, we've seen, of course, Weaver close some games lately, as well as Tommy Kahnle there. So, I think Boone's is kind of doing closer by committee, which I'm not really a big fan of. Kind of say with quarterbacks, if you have two quarterbacks, you really have no quarterbacks there. So the fact that the Yankees have multiple guys closing really means they have no closer. And of course, you have some baseball theorists say, well, technically you don't really need a closer, you don't need a ninth inning guy there, and that's why some people say that's kind of ridiculous to throw rose petals at someone like Mariano Rivera there, because you could see someone just come out of nowhere, have a good month, close out games in October, and all of a sudden you could almost anyone could do that there. So a lot of controversy if you really need a de facto closer or not. But again, I'm more of a fan. I think you do need that. And right now the Yankees technically don't have one. And of course, Holmes kind of falling out of favor. We know about the 11 blown saves there. And of course, the big one was that game-winning grand slam he gave up in Texas there. That was the one where finally Boone said, all right, maybe we got to rethink this a little bit. Because before that, he was pretty much with Holmes the entire way there. Again, Holmes, for the most part, some of those saves, blown saves were his fault. Some of them not his fault there. But again, of lately, it's been kind of ugly for him. I got the stats here, at least the last 7 games for him. So this is Holmes again. He's struggling mightily in his last 7 games there. Record of 1-1, an ERA of 8.44. I mean, an 8.44 ERA, which is staggering there, and I'm sure a lot had to do with that grand slam there. In 5.1 innings, 6 hits, so he's giving up more than a hit per inning there. Giving up 5 earned runs, so you have 5 innings, 5 earned runs. Again, a big no-no, but again, a lot of it was probably the grand slam. And of course, 3 walks, which is not good, and only 4 strikeouts. So again, Holmes has been struggling a little bit lately, and it seemed like he lost that job. And if you want to look at the Kansas City series recently at home there, a situation where the Yankees took a lead late in the game, and of course he blows it there in the 8th inning. Now, luckily, the Yankees would win that game in extra innings there, but again, you just see it's not, just been struggling lately, and the Yankee Stadium crowd let him hear it in that one for Holmes there. Now, if we look opposite that, Luke Weaver, who's been on the upswing, see how he's been doing in the same amount of time. His last 7 games, a record of 1-0. You'd like to see that there. An ERA much lower, about 1/4 lower of Holmes there, so pitching to an ERA of 2.08 versus Holmes' 8+ there. And in 8 and 2/3 innings, only 6 hits, so it's a hit less than per inning, like to see. 3 walks, the same there, but 13 strikeouts and 1 save there. So you just take his numbers right now. I mean, again, over the last 7 games for each of them, Luke Weaver pitching much better there, and it seems like he's now going to be the closer moving forward there. Now, there's a couple of weeks left in the season. Is there a possibility that they give Holmes yet another chance in there to kind of win his job back? I don't know there, and this is going to be interesting how Boone plays it. Now, he's got, of course, I mentioned them before. We've seen Kahnle close some games lately, and of course now he got some arm arms back in the bullpen, such as Scott Efros came back a couple weeks ago. Again, the jury's still out on him a little bit, but Ian Hamilton also back a little bit. Seems like since he's back, his velocity has been reported up there. So collectively, look at the Yankee bullpen. Before they made the switch, it was seen as not one of the best in the league, but since that time, in the 10 games after they took Holmes out of that closer role, now this is according to Fangraphs, the Yankees bullpen seen as the second most valuable in baseball, so ranked the second most valuable in baseball. So that's even without a de facto designated closer there, they still been getting the job done and pitching to a microscopic ERA of 1.16 there. So even though it seems like the Yankee bullpen is a little bit of flux right now, overall over the past 10 games, again, since they made that move to pull Holmes out there, the closer role officially, the bullpen overall has been much more effective. And I got mentioned, according to Fangraphs, second most valuable in baseball and a microscopic ERA of 1.16. But I just think it's a little worrisome going to the playoffs. I kind of beat that a little bit death last episode, but in case you didn't catch it there. Again, the Yankees going in with a lot of inexperience, into this postseason there. Again, if you have someone like Luke Weaver, even though he's throwing away, he looks like he's throwing well. He's all fired and pumped up and stuff like that there. But, pitching the postseason, a much different beast there. Can he handle that? We don't know. And even if you have some other options of someone like a Clark Schmidt, for example, off the IL pitching well and get to him a little bit. Still, can he go in there and get big outs in the postseason? We don't know. I mean, he got a little bit of sample size that in 2022 and one of those games in Cleveland, and he ends up blowing a save there for the Yankees there. So we don't know about him. And of course, I mentioned that maybe the X factor is going to be Luis Heel. If they decide not to use him as a starter during the postseason, can he become a guy that become a big factor? Do you use him for the ninth? Do you use him for the eighth and ninth? Does go for 2 innings and empty out the tank there and throw 100 miles per hour there? So the Yankees do have options. That's the good news there. But you also have a lot of inexperience there, so it's a little bit scary. I just think personally, when you have a bullpen, the guys are kind of conditioned of what they do. You want to go back in the day. I know it's not fair to do that, but when you have like Mendoza, Stanton, Nelson, they know when they're coming out in the 6th, 7th, and 8th inning. And of course, Mariano Rivera, especially if it's going to be postseason, pitching the last 2 innings there. Again, it's a formula when each guy just knows when their inning's ready. That early on, all right, when I start warming up, when I start to throw the white rag towel and start doing my stretch and stuff like that. When you're coming out there, I just think that makes make the pitches more effective. Again, baseball players, especially, all creatures of habit there. But if instead of you do that, where just every night you just kind of throw them in the air like playing like you're playing jacks there. They don't know when they're coming out. They don't know when they should get ready. Mentally, maybe they're not sure if they're coming out in the 7th inning, the 9th inning, stuff like that. I just think that those baseball players at disadvantage. Now, you might have a couple of random cases where, let's say, maybe these guys get too much in the head. So if you just throw them out there without having them think too much, it might make them perform better. That could be the case there, but what remains to be seen there. But going into the postseason where the Yankees should be there, though, I think the bullpen is definitely going to be their Achilles heel. And also looking at this postseason, when we look at the roster there, very good chance we don't see DJ LeMahieu. In fact, there's probably a good chance we don't see DJ LeMahieu for the rest of 2024. Now, kind of covered, as I mentioned before, more in my audio podcast, but I guess I want to update you here in case you hear the whole news there. They got, again, DJ right now on the IL. Now, this is a call, I guess, you want to get into the science here, a hip impingement. So that's this season. A couple of seasons ago, we had the Hamate wrist thing with Andrew Benintendi. So getting a little science, getting a little knowledge here on the show there. But a hip impingement. So he's on the 10-day IL officially. That was done on September 9th, but retroactive to September 6th there. So now he did receive a cortisone shot on September 12th. But Boone right now asked recently whether he's going to be back for the rest of the season or not. Boone seems like it's up in the air. And right now, surgery is not on the table. And supposedly this is a hip injury or something that's been bothering DJ going back for weeks. Again, it's been kind of hurting his ability to twist his body and drive the ball with any power. But I could have told you that 3 or 4 years ago there. So maybe this has been part of the this situation or the reason why his power numbers and overall his home runs and everything else has been down over the past couple of seasons. I mean, this could have been bothering him for quite a while there. It seems it got to the point there where they had to do this and give him the cortisone shot. But I just don't see what reason to have DJ back at all. I know he had a little bit run there, maybe in August. He kind of made you believe a little bit. Got hot a little bit there. He had that grand slam down in Philadelphia there. And you think, hey, maybe things on the upswing for DJ. But really, since then, it's been all downhill. And overall, this entire season, 2024 season, unfortunately for DJ, has been just a complete failure. Of course, in spring, we all know that he had the foul tip off his foot there, so he got a late start to the season. But again, this looks like his body's yet again giving out. And, you take the last 3 Yankee postseasons runs. Now, obviously, 2023 doesn't count because the Yankees didn't qualify for the postseason. But you take this season, you take 2022 and 2021. That's really 3 postseason runs in a row where DJ LeMahieu was not available at the end of the season. Again, unless you make some heroic medical comeback this month there, it doesn't seem to be the case. And if he did, why would you want on the postseason roster? It just seems like he's completely done there. But again, this is 3 years in a row his body gave out. 2021, he had the foot injury as well as the hernia, okay? 2022, we had various lower body injuries, but you never got a full discovery what that was. And of course, now he has this situation there. And again, he's yet again electing not to get surgery. That was the whole situation with the hairline fracture on his foot. He didn't want to get the surgery. He wanted to do the other, physical therapy instead there. I mean, yeah, he did get him back on the field there, but he's never been the same player. Maybe the surgery would have been better. And this situation with the hip there, maybe he does need the surgery there, but he seemed like he doesn't want to get it. And age 35, 36, I can kind of understand that. Maybe he doesn't want something that's going to take him out for probably not in the rest of this season, but maybe a chunk of next season as well there. So, but overall, this looks like DJ LeMahieu probably gone for the rest of the season. And again, even if he comes back this season, why would you have him on the postseason roster? The only reason it would be maybe for some late inning defense there. Possibly gives you some flexibility, but not much. The only area maybe I would definitely put him in is maybe for first base, but now it does make sense because Rizzo's back and Rizzo can man first base there. So I don't know. I mean, it's possibly maybe they just have DJ on just as a backup first baseman there, just because you get into one of those crazy extra inning games, something where you have to pull Rizzo and need somebody competent to play first base. Okay, that'd be the only case maybe I could see putting him there. But other than that, DJ seems like he's completely done there. But again, a couple of weeks left of the season. Let's see what happens with him. Now, getting back to the little drama between the Yankees and the Red Sox, and of course this is between Garrett Cole and Rafael Devers. Because I don't know if you caught that whole thing about, obviously a little controversy there. Now, this was during the 4-game series where the Yankees took 3 out of 4 there and kind of, put a good stamp on the season in terms of, early on Boston was actually getting the Yankees number there. This is where for the Yankees to sort of reverse that and put a cap on it. But of course, all the attention was between Cole and Devers there in that Saturday game there where early on Cole plunked him. Now, obviously you want to raise your eyebrow at that because, Devers has been killing Cole as well as the Yankees in general there. And if you look at his numbers, before that point, he was 14 for 41 against Cole. That's a 341 batting average and 8 home runs there. So this guy's absolutely owned Cole over the past couple of seasons. So no secret there. So when you plunk a guy there, you got to raise your eyebrow a little bit. But really the real controversy was over later in the game with 2 outs. Cole intentionally walked him, and then after that, with 2 outs there, again Boston put some hits together and ended up smacking Cole around there. And people backfire said, why did you intentionally put a man on, which started a big rally there. But a couple of things I got to break down with that. Number one, I don't blame Cole in that situation. First of all, we've seen other teams walk Judge, for example. Now, you don't like it, but, if someone's actually killing you, why keep walking them? 2 outs. Normally, you put someone on there. You should get out of the inning. Now, look, it was a crazy circumstance where the next couple of Boston hitters got up and, smacked Cole around there. Usually it doesn't happen there. So yes, did the Cole backfire on him? Yes. But again, more times than not there, that wasn't really a terrible idea for him to do that. And again, if a guy's killing you, why pitch to him? And you already hit him in the first inning there. You can't hit him a second time in the game like that because then obviously that's blatant and you're going to get thrown out of the game there. So he can't hit the guy. You don't want to pitch to the guy. So just put up the 4 fingers and walk him. I don't think it was a bad call by the Yankees. And Boone mentioned that they were discussing that before the game as an option. It says Boone and the catcher Wells wasn't expecting Cole to go there, but he did go there. But again, this was somewhat on the table before the games there, so they shouldn't have been surprised about that. I think it was a good call. It ended up backfiring in the face. You're not expecting to get smacked around after that. Usually the next guy just pops up or hits a little ground out to second base and you're out of the inning there. So it was a good decision. It just didn't work out. But of course, it got a little bit more controversial later in the game because with Boston up 7-1, again, Cole was charged with all 7 runs because of the blow up there. Bello on the mound there, pitched behind Judge, behind his leg there, and nearly nicked him there. It almost looked like it was very intentional, which in that situation does look like it was very intentional. I mean, their best guy, Devers, was intentionally plunked early in the game there. And of course, just the night before, Judge with a big grand slam to give the Yankees a lead in that game. Again, the Yankees ultimately go out from behind and win that game there. So if you're going to hit somebody, they hit their best guy. You can see them throwing at Judge there. So was it intentional? Probably. And then Boston manager Alex Cora, after the game, kind of mentioned that, well, yeah, we did have our chance there, but we missed it. So basically admitting that, yeah, we were trying to throw at him, but Bello, I guess, was a little too far outside and wasn't able to hit Judge there. And now, since he's basically admitting that they're throwing at him, now the MLB is investigating the whole situation there, so they're looking into it. I don't think it's much to do about anything there. Again, they did throw out Judge, but they threw out his legs there. And this baseball a little bit. I know they're trying to get away from some of the stuff and the concussions and the brutality of the game of throwing at guys. I understand they don't want that. But also this is baseball as well. You just let them settle on the field there. So even though, yeah, does it benefit the Yankees that they're investigating Boston? Sure. But again, I kind of don't want it there. No one got hurt. They threw out his legs there. Fine, it is what it is. I think they should just move on. Again, Boston, it's not someone you're going to see until next year in 2025, so it's not even worth it there. And again, I think Cole made the right move to walk Devers in that spot there. 2 outs, the guy's killing you. Why throw anything near him? And again, he doesn't only kill Cole, he kills the Yankees' entire pitching staff. He's like this, era of David Ortiz. And even back then, I remember people saying, why no one ever threw at Ortiz there? He kind of just sits there in the box and tees off the Yankees. So good call by Cole. It just didn't work out. And for all the people that would speculate, want to get rid of Boone and bring in Alex Cora in here, I mean, why would you want him? He's part of this situation, which, again, not really his fault there. But even go back where Alex Cora was involved with, the cheating stuff with Houston there. Again, this guy's been like, the Yankees' nemesis in 2 different organizations there. Why would you ever want to bring him in here? I'm not saying Boone is the future for the next 5 to 10 years there, but I'm sure you could feel like a million other guys in Alex Cora to bring here to manage the Yankees. So while the show was on a little bit of a hiatus, of course, the news which we know was going to happen was Jason Dominguez finally joined the Yankees. That was, again, on September 9th during the Kansas City series. And so far, really has been great for Dominguez. Exactly, tearing the cover off the ball. Again, 4 games right at this point there. Just with 3 hits, no home runs. Had 1 stolen base, but then it was a throwing error he scored, and that's really it. Been kind of quiet there. And Verdugo in the same amount of time actually hit a home run in the same game that he rejoined the team. But again, only 4 hits. And 2 RBIs, so none of them really grabbing this left fielder job. But the point is that this is why you need to bring up Dominguez much earlier there, where you can make an evaluation over a whole month, except only a few weeks. And in the bullpen, not huge news for the Yankees, but it can actually help them beneficially, and that's because with a couple of players coming back, and that's because Cody Petit. Again, he's been out since June 12th, with a strain there, but it looks like he's going to be able to join the team in the remaining month of September here. And a couple of other minor moves because Lou Trevino coming back from his Tommy John, he accepted a rehab assignment, and JT Brubaker, who the Yankees picked up during the offseason, one of Cashman's kind of bargain basement moves, he's now reporting to AAA, and he possibly, both Trevino and Brubaker, could be in play for some time in September. Now, you might think, well, what's the big deal? Well, the reason that those guys, if they could come in and pitch quality innings, then you could rest guys. You could rest Canely, Cousins, Weaver, even Holmes. All these guys give you a little bit rested going into the postseason, so they're nice and fresh there. So, so they won't qualify for the postseason roster because they haven't pitched before September 1st. Now, Poteet would because he pitched early in the season. But those other 2 guys, if they're going to join the team and have good quality innings out of the bullpen, then you could rest those guys, which, again, as I mentioned, the bullpen's going to be kind of spotty for the Yankees in the postseason. So all the rest they could get in September, the more the better. So that's on the field for the Yankees postseason run there. But of course, we'll look at off the field. And of course, you can hear the news that John Sterling will be returning to WFN to call games with Susan Waldman. Again, this will be during the postseason run. So he's going to unretire, I guess, for a couple of weeks. Hopefully, it's a whole month, which means that the Yankees are kind of going through multiple rounds and hopefully the World Series there. But again, Sterling coming back. And of course, he got a little bit of taste, a couple weeks ago. He came out again, game against Cleveland, did 2 innings in the booth there, and I guess his voice sounded a little bit groggy, but maybe it got the juices flowing again. He claimed that he kind of missed working with Susan there. So, and plus, look, he's been sitting around for about 5-6 months there at home, maybe just a little bit bored. So nevertheless, wants to get out, and he's going to be doing both the road and the home games there. So it's not going to be like a couple of years ago where he was kind of just doing some home games, during the regular season. This is going to be the full schedule for him. So I guess he's rested up enough to do that, and it's good news for the Yankee fans. And maybe it's a little good luck charm there, and maybe he sees something with his team. Obviously this guy's been around for a while. In his mid to late 80s, he's been calling games for the Yankees for like 30 plus years there. So I guess he knows the real Yankee teams versus the pretender Yankee teams, and maybe he sees something in his team, whether it's Juan Soto or the combination of Judge and Soto, or maybe it's the Yankee starting rotation with Cole, Rendon, Nestor, Stroman. Maybe he sees a little something there where, hey, I want to stick around and call this. Hard to really see what that is, but nevertheless, he's coming back. But then, of course, he said once this postseason is done, then he's retired for good until he comes back next year.